Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. Welcome back. I'm Joe.
And I'm Calvin.
Happy birthday, Calvin.
Wow.
And also, this is We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. Thank you. Shouts out to everybody that showed out last night.
Yeah, he had a nice little first time ever birthday dinner with friends. Calvin usually hates celebrating anything around his birthday. I was very shocked that he was like, yeah, well, let's do a dinner with friends. What? Huh? Who are you? Who is this stranger? But it was fun.
Yeah, I don't know if they want their names shouted out on the podcast. So I'm not going to do
They
it.
know who they are.
But thanks.
I'm pretty sure they're also the only ones who listen to this podcast. But yeah, it was a good time.
Slept sitting up.
Yeah.
Night.
Mr. I'm going to party till 6 a.m. Yep. The Capricorns were tired. We had to go to sleep. It was a good time.
Sure.
It was time to go.
Sure. Whatever. Anywho, thanks. Had a blast. Moving on to the news that you need to know. Skitty bop bop bop. That happened with Joe.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice, short and sweet. You know what? I can fit the ultimatum in here. Let's talk about the ultimatum reunion.
Go for it.
They did the final episodes for the ultimatum, so we got to see who chose who, whether or not they were going to move forward with marriage or not.
Let me guess what that dude name is.
Which one?
RJ, whatever, JR.
Okay, and Zaina.
It chose a white girl.
He didn't get the chance to. Dun-dun-dun. So when it comes to the white Sandy coming to meet him, she puts out there like, it's been fun. I really enjoyed my time with you doing the whole trial as a married couple, but we both know we're not walking away with each other. It was fun. Handshake. You can see his face kind of like fall. Like, oh, okay. And yeah, he did not choose Zaina. He's like, I need to choose myself, basically. And then he like pretends to cry.
But it's like you said, they were already just going through the motion of being friends.
So apparently they were legitimately like a couple. So when the reunion happens, Zaina touches on it and she's like, I know a lot of people thought that we were doing this as like friends, but it turns out that was just an aspect and dynamic of their relationship. They had agreed going into the experiment that they were going to fully immerse themselves in the experiment, like as individuals, basically. So that's why it seemed like she didn't really have a reaction to what he was doing, but it was also because she had no idea what was going on. They did not talk to each other. That was a stipulation of JR's going into the experiment, that they wouldn't keep tabs on each other like that. So they didn't. They were like one of the only couples to not continue like talking to each other throughout the experiment. So the reason it looked like they weren't that connected was because they weren't talking at all. That's why she also was so shocked when she found out that him and Sandy were kissing. It turned out he was lying about kissing. So he told Zaina, well, Sandy told Nick, the other white guy that everybody thinks is on coke.
Probably is.
That she had only kissed JR once. Then JR tells Zaina he kissed Sandy. Him and Sandy kissed twice. He initiated one. She initiated one. But if you rewatch the show, they were kissing so often. So, and then of course they were able to see the season play out, because when we get to the reunion, they're like, yeah, you guys kept lying about what you guys were doing as a couple. The reunion was great. But so Zaina and JR do not move forward as a couple. They break up. Sandy and Nick do not move forward as a couple. They break up. Nick alludes to the fact that he might have a ring in his pocket, and Sandy visibly flinches. She visibly flinches and is like, oh no, what are you doing with that? But then when he goes, okay, I think we should break up because I want to get married and have kids one day and you don't, she's like, no, let's not break up. Like, she tells him that they should keep dating. She's just not 100% sure right now. And he's like, I can't keep waiting. And she like baby talks him. And it's like, babe, no, babe, I love you. Like, it was very weird. But he breaks up with her. So they break up. Mariah and Caleb, that's the white boy that we were fighting about in a previous podcast. So he said that he just needed to break up with her.
Yes.
They move forward. They get engaged.
he likes the emo life.
Well, so the theory right now is that he feels like he owes Mariah, basically. He talks a lot about how Mariah loves him more than he loves himself and how, like, he's not had that kind of love in his life. So people are like, maybe he's seeing something maternal in her.
Where's his mother?
I don't think she's in the picture. I don't think she's in the picture. So people are saying like maybe he feels like he owes her because she's kind of like touching on a need of his that wasn't being met elsewhere. So but they are engaged and they seem very happy. The spicy thing that happens between them is that people talk about his chemistry with Arya, the black girl he was paired up with for the experiment. And Caleb plays it off like through at least throughout the experiment in the show, like nothing was going on. It was friendship only. But when they rewatch the season, Mariah calls Caleb out and is like, there was clearly chemistry between y'all. You could have just told me there was like an emotional connection. And he was like, in my mind, even if the emotional connection was present, as long as I didn't pursue it, I was being faithful and everything I was saying was true. This was just a friendship. Which to me makes sense to me. But she was not taking it, and Arya wasn't taking it. Arya goes on like hurt mode, basically, and is like, that's not true, Caleb. We were having deep conversations. You know, it was more than just a friendship. And then apparently after the show ended and everything, Mariah tells Caleb to cut ties talking to Arya entirely. Like he's barred from even socializing with her. But Arya's like, "Well, that didn't stop you from looking at my Instagram reels," and then people being like, eh, "Instagram reels, doesn't really mean anything," because he doesn't do anything beyond just looking at the reels. So
Well, he sounds like he's reminiscing to me.
that's what Arya painted it out to be.
Sound like he's hitting the Mary J. Blige, reminiscing.
I've been too strong for too long.
Yep. Seems like all he really want is to be happy.
And I can't breathe without you, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
But so people are taking bets as to whether or not Mariah and Caleb are actually going to get married because they both seem pretty young in this span of all of this to be moving forward with marriage. But that was going on with them. Then we have Arya and Scotty, the the guy that look gaslight at everybody. They broke. So at the end of the show, he proposes to Arya. She says yes. So the show ends with Scotty and Arya engaged. But then when we get to the reunion, she says that she broke off the engagement the next day. It wasn't sitting well with her. I mean, after she said yes, it wasn't sitting well with her. She knew she couldn't go through with it. She broke off the engagement, and then they were gonna continue to date, but then she ended up breaking up with him entirely. And she goes into this very heartbreaking story of how, like, she had a miscarriage and it just made things like even worse between them. And she was just emotionally exhausted.
When did all this happen?
So they filmed a year ago. Okay. So they filmed a year ago. And then their reunion, they recorded the reunion like a couple months back. So it's been a year and some months for all of that to happen.
Okay. So I'm assuming Scotty wasn't there.
Scotty was at the reunion. Yeah.
Scotty Too Hottie was there.
So so Arya's sharing her story as to why like things ended, and Scotty's perspective is like she just didn't try hard enough. Arya didn't try hard enough in the relationship. Great. Um, and then we get a couple that shows up, Dave and Vanessa. This was a couple that skedaddled early in the relationship or early in the experiment. There were there were four couples that left
Yeah.
early,
Yeah.
and they were one to the other, or not four couples, four people, two couples that left. They were one of the couples. They come back for the reunion, but it just felt like they came back to pick on Nick. They were like, yeah, there was a reason we left so early, and it was because of Nick. And like, it's Vanessa just going in about how like badly she was treated by Nick, which Nick, I mean, to Nick's credit, he holds himself accountable for it. He's like, yeah, I was terrible to her. I was drinking a lot. I was going on. I couldn't handle my emotions around being in the experiment and knowing that it was my idea to be in the experiment. Like I handled that whole situation poorly. Like he really holds himself accountable for a lot of stuff, but just continue to go after this man's character.
So he verbally abused her, and she thought, my other relationship ain't this bad.
Basically, yeah.
Stupid.
Plus, the guy in her main relationship, he was drowning. He was drowning. They were like texting and calling each other every day. And after, I want to say like maybe the second night into the experiment, he was already done. Vanessa gave Dave the ultimatum, and Dave was the guy on the show who was like, yeah, she gave me this ultimatum, but I'm about to live my best life out here. He was talking about how much of a ladies' man he was prior to being with Vanessa, and he was looking forward to emotionally and physically connecting with somebody else while doing the experiment. And of course, nobody wanted to pair up with him. So
and then it hit him. And then also Mariah Carey started playing his head. We belong together.
Basically, because Vanessa was a hot commodity. A lot of guys were interested. And he was like,
take that.
Oh.
How they say? What's the saying? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun?
I guess so. The other couple didn't make it to the show, but the girl from that other couple, I think her name is Micah. I can't remember what this child's name is, but she did a TikTok, and she was basically like, yeah, we didn't go to the reunion and we didn't finish out the experiment because it wasn't what it presented itself to be. There was a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes that made us really question the integrity of this experiment. But follow my socials, hashtag ultimatum. So people were like, that's what? Okay, sure. All right, sure.
Yeah, back to the other guy.
Which one?
That thought he was gonna get all the ladies.
Oh, Dave, yeah.
I don't know why men think that. It's really easy for women to get guys if they really want a guy. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
All you gotta do is come outside and say, "Hey, if you're cute enough, trust me, they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna walk up to you." So the fact that he thought he's gonna holler at all these females, and it turned out as soon as she got an inch of freedom, everybody flocked to her. Right. It's hilarious.
It happens a lot, which is one of my favorite parts of the show. And then we got to talking about JR and Zaina now. They are broken up now. And honestly, JR just came out looking real bad. Real bad.
Why?
One, they showed how he was a liar on the show. Remember how he had got really upset about the whole somebody said I'm here only for a hall pass business?
Yeah.
So it turns out the text that led to all of that was from Zaina. Zaina sent a text to JR saying, hey, Arya is feeling a way about being in the experiment, and she kind of feels like it's just giving a hall pass to Scotty. And for whatever reason, JR internalized that stuff and made it about him. It was never related to him at all. It was how Arya was feeling about Scotty, but JR internalized it and made it about him for some reason. And it was a whole thing where Zaina had a QR code put on her nails so that she could pull it up on her phone, pull up the receipts on her phone. It was hilarious to show all this. And the whole time JR is just making a face and he's just like, this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. This is ridiculous. And I never said any of that. And then the production shows all the tapes of him saying all that stuff. And there's a scene in there where he legit says, yeah, I have a hall pass being in here. Verbatim.
And that's why I said this whole it's like a structure for this whole show. But if you want to do what you want to do, you're gonna do it regardless.
Well, yeah, but I think what the whole catch was JR was saying the opposite of all of that. He was saying that he believed in the integrity of it and he was following all the rules as required, and then it turned out he wasn't.
And also, I can do what I want to do and not tell you I'm doing it. Just like they said, they didn't tell their partners they kissed or whatever, or they only kissed once.
Well, but the thing is, with part of it being the structure of the show, the truth's gonna come out. So even if you did lie, like if this was real world and you lied, maybe we find out, maybe we don't. But because it's the show, we find it out.
Well, yeah, the kissing, you're not gonna find out if they slept together. Let's just say.
Yeah, you can.
What, they're gonna record it?
They're recorded nonstop.
I don't think they record once.
Do you remember the lesbian ultimatum? Do you remember all the cut scenes of them getting busy in bed? You don't remember that?
Yeah. Like
Now, are they going to show us hardcore porn? No.
What I'm saying,
But is it being taped? Yeah.
Starting something, yeah. But other than that,
there's a difference between what they show us and what they actually have footage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tape nonstop.
Okay, that's crazy.
But it's known. So that's the other thing is, it's known. You're doing all this knowing it's about to be on record somewhere. Anyhow.
Well, then they're pretty much shooting porn then.
They don't show it, so therefore it's not. You know what I mean?
Then where are these tapes? My thing is, where are these tapes going? Somebody's watching these tapes or taking these tapes.
Sure, but the public necessarily is not.
That's just one disgruntled employee away from messing up a whole lot of people's lives.
Oh, no. They have been sued constantly.
Oh, okay.
Constantly.
Sure.
Okay. So, but yeah, so the reunion was hilarious. Almost everybody's broken up. One couple is trying to move towards marriage. Oh, and Dave and Vanessa, the couple that left the show because they said the show wasn't meeting all their requirements to run the experiment, and they had a bad situation with Nick. They didn't even get engaged after all of that. They were on like this high horse of how they chose each other. They didn't need the show anymore. They're still not engaged. They're exactly where they were before the show. So
hilarious.
It's hysterical. So that was the ultimatum. The other thing that's happening for That Happened, I wanted to talk about the Jaleel White of it all. Jaleel White, in case you don't know, that's Steve Urkel from Family Matters, has recently been kind of put through the ringer on the internet. He was doing a book tour. He has his own biography, basically, that he's doing tours for. And somehow in the conversation of him doing this tour, he started talking about sharing his thoughts on why Family Matters doesn't get its due respect because it wasn't hood like Living Single or Martin in terms of like how Black culture views TV shows.
He's been contradicting himself a lot, kind of, to me.
I feel like
a lot about the family members. Family Matters.
So this is not new conversation from him. He's been saying stuff like this.
What? Well, not that. Like,
no, yeah, saying how like Family Matters is not seen as Black enough, and it's always something he's had to contend with.
That, but what I'm talking about is like he was doing an interview and he was talking about when he had to do the dress scene and how Harriet and
when he had to play Myrtle.
Reginald, I think that's the dude's real name, didn't want him to do it. Thought he shouldn't do it.
Right.
And he said, I didn't appreciate how they heaped all the burden of Black men wearing a dress on this little boy and this child. I'm like, but even your father didn't want you to do it. If I'm not mistaken.
I also wonder if is it that they're heaping this burden or they're trying to make you acutely aware of how it's going to be conceived.
Yeah, and that's how I took it.
Very interesting.
But he's like,
but he also got all this information as a kid. You know what I mean? Like if you watch any of the basically like true Hollywood versions of Family Matters, him on set, he didn't really have the best relationship with everybody else on set.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So, but you want to hear the interview? A little blurb of it.
Well, I think I've heard it. But you can play it.
Okay.
Sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of Blackness. You know, Blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. You know, if it's not a hood story, it's not a Black story. And you know, sometimes I feel left out of that. You know, so it's like you know, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite Black shows? And, you know, Martin is in there or Living Single or any of those guys, I already know we coming in last. But if there's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as Black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for Black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean, I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s, well, 90s and 2000s, wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me. He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. but still, his peers would find a way to call him Urkel, and even girls to that extent. So it's really humbling to see how far nerd culture has come. And really, it's not nerd culture; it's smart culture. It's hobbyist culture. It's skateboarders. And I could never have known in a million years that I would be the face of that. I never could have known that.
First of all, you're not the face of. That's
It went all over the place.
embellishment.
First, he was like,
I think I used that word in the right place.
You did.
I'm happy with myself.
He was all over the place because at first he's like, Family Matters isn't seen as a black show.
Number one.
Then he's like, black shows are only seen as hood shows. It has to be a hood show for it to be a black show. Then he's like, Martin Living Single, which are the craziest examples to throw in there for being hood shows. Living Single. Anyway, so then he says that if you were a black kid with glasses, you were called Urkel. How's that relate to being a hood show?
First of all, that's how Jonan works. You use a big reference that everybody knows to crack on somebody.
That's how Jonan works?
Oh, yeah. In Philly, they call it Jonan.
We are not from Philly.
Oh, joshing. Oh, snapping.
I got you talking about Dirty Dozens? Are we talking about?
Yeah. When you cracking on somebody.
Are you talking about the nerd thing? You're talking about the nerd thing? Okay.
Yeah, when you cracking somebody, you use references people know or some people know. Urkel is a universal for nerds, so everybody use.
I want to know how that part of his statement relates to his earlier part of his statement. So those were disjointed.
It has nothing to do with nothing. I'm just saying, if you talk about people calling each other Urkel, I'm like, people used to call each other Pookie, which is for the crackhead Chris Rock character from New Jack City.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody was skinny, like a Pookie, like a crackhead.
I feel like he was trying to say there's a duality of not being a hood show, but at simultaneously being like the black reference when it comes to talking about like quote unquote nerd culture, smart culture, whatever.
Cracking jokes on somebody. My thing is, you can say that about anything when somebody's just talking or cracking jokes on each other.
I think he's talking about how, like, to me, it sounds like he really feels that Family Matters struggles with its blackness. But at the same time, he's the black nerd. Like, that's what I took from that conversation.
But I'm like,
I don't think that he was talking about how if he felt it was disrespectful for people to say whatever they were saying.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but like you said, my thing is that means absolutely nothing. That's just okay. You're just.
I think he's talking about the duality of being upheld in the black community. Like on the one hand, they won't say, according to him, they won't say Family Matters is a black show. But on the other hand, they use his likeness for black nerdom all the time.
Are these people he's hanging around that saying this?
I agree. I agree. Who's saying that saying Family Matters is not a black show?
Yeah.
Who's saying that?
If you do any black play any black little game, like what's that game we was playing at DeJona's housewarming?
It was just trivia.
If you do any black trivia or anything, Family Matters is brought up.
100%.
All the time.
Yep.
You take any one of the little trivia black card games or whatever, there are tons.
Yep.
We got one. There's tons of Family Matter questions in there about family members. Family Matters for black trivia games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you poll people, I guarantee Family Matters is in everybody's top 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the last one.
So he got backlash for his statements about that because people were like, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean by hood shows?"
Yeah. For me, it's if I had to rate the top black shows of how I like them, you got Martin.
I feel like Family Matters, Martin, Living Single, you can't compare those shows like that. Maybe Living Single and Martin, but you can't compare Family Matters
and
to Living Single.
I think Living Single is more like Family Matters.
I disagree. It's not as family oriented because it's all adults. Like there's no kids and there's not even any kid perspective plot lines at all. Living Single was for adults by adults.
Yeah, but to me,
but nowhere in there were they hood.
But that's what I feel comfortable. If kids will actually watch it, I feel comfortable with them watching it
because
I know it's not going to be anything crazy. Whereas Martin, there's cussing left and right.
There's not cussing because it was on Fox. It was on a syndicated network.
Martin, they pushed the boundaries.
I agree with that. They did push. They did a lot of innuendos.
Yeah, they pushed the boundaries.
There was a lot of implying.
Yeah, they pushed the boundaries.
But they never said it because they were on a syndicated network.
They pushed the boundaries. But
I'm just saying, people used to let their kids watch and live in color.
Yeah, to me, if I had to rank black shows, Family Matters is at least in the top 5.
It's definitely. If you have a top 10 list of black shows, if Family Matters is in it,
they're not coming in last.
No, I agree.
They're not.
I agree.
They might be in some people's top 3.
Yeah.
They're no longer lower than 5.
Everybody knows the theme song.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that theme song.
What happened to predictive? No, that's not the wrong one.
No, you're right. That's it. The Newsman, the Paperboy, Evening TV.
Evening TV.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, everybody. Everybody runs to the TV. Everybody knows the start of the theme music. Everything.
If anything, it makes me want to unpack.
Didn't people do
why he feels that the black community has turned its back to him particularly?
Wasn't there like a TikTok thing of people doing the Family Matters intro?
And then like show. No, that was the Full House intro, and they're like then showing their faces.
But then they did the Family Matters one too. I've seen people do Family Matters too.
Okay.
So I'm like, what is he talking about? Everybody that I know love Family Matters. I don't
clearly somewhere along the lines between him being a kid on the show to his adulthood, there was he faced a lot of questions about blackness related to that show.
He resents that character a little bit because it's all people know him for.
Well, okay, so
he can't get away from it.
So if you watch the Vice documentary, Dark Side of Comedy, they show Family Matters. We find out that all of the writers, all of the producers for Family Matters were white people.
Yeah.
We also find out that like while the show was initially supposed to be a vehicle for Harriet and her storyline, because she actually was a spinoff character from Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers, if you know about that show.
It became the Urkel show, and a lot of people likened it to New Age. What is it? Minstrelly?
Yeah, minstrel shows.
Yeah, they likened it to that because you had this over-the-top character who really didn't dive into the culture of being black at all. He was just this talking head who did a lot of zany, comedic things, constant screw up, and chaser of Laura, basically. Like if you rewrote that character and didn't have him be portrayed by Jaleel White, Urkel could be a white person. There was nothing in the Urkel character that like rooted him to black culture.
I think the dude that played Eddie was saying that.
Yeah, he was.
Just drop anybody there.
That is what he was saying. He was like, there was like the family, the Winslows actually were steeped in black culture. They had the storylines revolving around race, but Urkel did not. And then Urkel ends up becoming like the big star for the show. And there's more and more, as the show progresses, more and more of the storylines veer away from topics of race, even though this is a black show.
He came from that catchphrase era. Did I do that?
Well, So I wonder if him dealing with that and then like struggling in his adulthood with his acting career and then constantly being reminded about Urkel is kind of what led him to believe all of this, to really, really feel like this is what's going on.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Also, I think he was just trying to saying some stuff to get views and clicks.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's too. The cover of his book is him in a white suit in the recreation of like Michael Jackson Off the Wall. You know, like where he's like leaned back, knee up. It's that. That's the cover of his book, but it's him.
Oh, sure.
But that's it. That's all I got for that. That's all I got for that happened.
Skitty bop bop that happened with Joe.
All right.
Yeah, I just think I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I think he's hurt, but I think it's also like what you said. He wanted to say something that was going to get attention. It got attention. Just got a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
So
normally we cover 90 days before the 90 days. I didn't watch it this week. I'll probably talk about it next week.
It's his birthday. He can do what he want to do.
Yeah. But Love During Lockup is back with an all-new season.
We didn't know. We had a nice little double episode situation.
So we watched the first 2 episodes. I'm gonna be honest with you. This might. I don't want to jinx it though. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm.
But
not
right
gonna
now,
I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to jinx it. But
it's right now though interesting.
But right now, like she said, this might be the best because all the couples are.
You don't want to jinx it, but you're gonna say that.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it, but right now it's the best.
Right now, it's heading that way. All the couples are different. All the couples have something intriguing about them.
Yeah.
And it's so good they didn't even show us all the people involved yet. Which leads me to believe one of these couples are not going to be there much longer.
Oh, okay. Or do you think the new couple coming in is maybe the one that's not going to last that long?
Or the one of these couples don't have too much story. So they're going to fill them in with another couple. And those 2 couples are going to go back and forth.
Okay.
So all the couples we have is Kate and Hunter, Tia and Rob. I keep wanting to say Teeny and Rob, but Tia and Rob. There's a new T and R. Savannah and Bradley, MJ and Willie, Sam and Crystal, Jakima and Donnie. So it's 6 couples. So we're going to start with Kate and Hunter. Hunter is the inmate. Pretty much Kate is a yoga instructor.
And wound tight.
And from Scottsdale, Arizona. And she met Hunter in a coffee shop.
He was a barista.
He's a barista. And then I guess a little bit after, she says they were casually dating. He says she was a friend with benefits.
He says it started with sex. He said I had a sexual interest in her and nothing else. And then we built a friendship around that. So she was somebody that he went to for sex, and then they became friends. But the way that she portrays it, like Calvin said, is that they were casually dating.
So,
girl,
I read it as she knew they were friends with benefits, or she just accepted that and she was still searching, but still hanging with him. Javon says, nah, she was dating him and
he was just fucking her.
He was just banging her. And then I guess something happened along the way.
Because the word she uses to explain where the relationship is now is weird.
So Kate knows Hunter has all of these females. Oh, I'm sorry. She set up a website for him to get like sugar mamas.
The story is wild from the beginning. She talks about how she was reluctant to realize that she had these deep feelings for him after he got his DUIs. Homeboy stole somebody's identity, tried to go shopping, shoplifted.
And then apparently either shoved, I'm assuming he got
assaulted someone.
He got in a fight with somebody.
So, like,
must have been security when he was trying to run out or something.
She's like, after all of that went down, I was like, I'm not going to close the door to this, even though it might be a red flag for somebody else, but not for me.
Because it's just a DUI. I'm
Girl,
like,
what?
Did you see the other charges? Did you read?
Girl, what? So then, but she's like, I reluctantly found myself with these strong feelings for this person and I love him. So, I resigned myself to be with him. And I was like, what? And then she resigned herself again when she realized that he needed money in prison. So he I don't know if he brought up that he needs sugar mamas or she was just like, here, let me help you.
So
and let me sign you up so you can get some sugar mamas.
Yeah.
And she signs him up for J-Date.
So he started off with 40, but he cut his stable down to 10.
He said it was getting crazy at 40.
It was getting crazy.
So he needed a stable. He's like, who's going to pay me the highest? And they became his good 10.
So.
But the point is, she set him up for this. She said, yeah, I'm going to help you with this. You go ahead and get these sugar mamas to help pay your bills because I'm just a yoga instructor. I can't pay these bills. But the rules she creates around it don't make sense. At
all. So to me, also, I think Kate is my cousin's doppelganger.
The white version of his cousin. But all of this, her setting him up with J-Date, her supposedly helping him get sugar mamas, her supposedly setting these rules in place about how he gets these sugar mamas, to me, screams, he was going to do this regardless, and she thought she might feel better if she was hands-on.
And she had access to...
She doesn't feel better, spoiler.
Because she doesn't know. So... we fast forward, and now he's
talking about how he screwed up.
Yeah, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "I guess was
I got X-rated with one of my sugar mamas
on video,
and I got in trouble with the law."
So she's like, "Okay, then you need to stop." And I guess she wants them to get rid of the site altogether. He's like, "I can't do that."
He's like, "One of my sugar mamas is really gonna flip out if I do it that way," and she's like, "I don't care."
And the spoiler, the reason she's gonna flip out is because she thinks she's in a relationship with him too.
She thinks she's engaged to this man.
So
Hunter proposed to this one.
So we
Dun-dun-dun.
get a cut scene,
Yep.
and we get another person who enters the fray, and she's talking to somebody on the phone, and I'm thinking this is a whole new couple. Jamal's like, that's
Hunter's voice.
That's Hunter's voice. I'm like, you sure? Come back for commercial. It is actually Hunter's voice.
Dun-dun-dun.
Hunter has another lady who started off as sugar mama, but now he's catching feelings for, named
Kaylee. And she's the exact opposite of Kate.
She is
like in every way.
She's a little thick honey.
Yes, thickum, mixed girl, quick to get dirty with this man on the phone.
Exactly. Even the cat was like terrified. Cat was like, I don't know what's going on right now, but
it literally opens to her being like, I made pot roast for me and Hunter. Hunter is in jail.
Exactly. She made 2 bowls.
And then she picks up the phone and she's like, "Hey, baby," and he's like, "Hey, girl, get your sex toy. I need to get off." It's like, wow.
And she immediately goes and does this.
Yeah.
As a cameraman, I'm like, should I put the camera down and leave?
Right.
What am I supposed?
How far this gonna go? But then it's Hunter like gushing over this girl. I said Kaylee was supposed to be just a sugar mama, but then we found out that we had so much in common, and she's just a really cool girl. And he broke the rules with her. They met in person. He had a conjugal visit, and he's like, it went off without a hitch. It was amazing.
Apparently, he tastes that sugar, and all that pot roast was nice and simmered and cooked, because he can't get enough of this girl.
Hunter looks like the lost Paul brother. Calvin's like, he looks like one of the Jake Paul brothers. He literally does. He looks like
one of them.
A YouTuber. He makes the duck face look in all of his photos. The girl you think he'd go for, Kate, is a skinny blonde woman, does yoga. Nope, he could care less. Kaylee, the thick girl, the mixed girl. He's like, yeah.
But
can't wait.
But you said she's like Special K cereal. She's just bland.
That's Special K.
Yeah, Special K cereal. You gotta.
No, Kicks.
Yeah,
she's the Kicks.
Yeah, it's like this, like Special K. You gotta make it taste like Frosted Flakes. So you gotta put all the sugar in your house on it, so it can taste like Frosted Flakes.
You gotta dress it up your way.
Pretty much, it's unsugared Frosted Flakes. That's what Special K is.
You know what? That is a great example, because then Kaylee is Frosted Flakes.
Because
he's like, she is great.
Frosted Flakes. She's great.
He loves her. He's throwing out I love yous. He's like, I can't wait to marry you, boo. Like all the stuff that I want to call her Sandy so bad, that Kate wants to hear. He's telling Kaylee.
And that's when you say the bland thing. I'm like, you're so right. I guess she's bland. Because I'm like, I don't understand why he doesn't like Kate. I'm like, she's not bad.
Right.
And I'm like
in terms of like socially acceptable attractiveness, she hits those marks, and he's like, whatever.
Strong,
but this girl Kaylee,
she has strong face structure, features.
She's thin. She's a white woman.
Yeah,
she's blonde. She do the yoga. She's flexible.
She look a little exotic to me. No.
You're black.
She don't. Yeah,
you're black.
I guess. But I like some sugar on my Special K. That's all I'm saying.
He does too.
Apparently he does a lot.
He said all the sugar. You know what? Make it Frosted Flakes. And then
he wants Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops. You want to mix the two. That's what he wants. He wants a mixture of the two.
He said all of the above. It was interesting and surprising. I was like, wait, what? You're in love with Kaylee? Okay.
So we get Kaylee's little backstory, and she's pretty much a mixed girl.
Mm-hmm. Mom's white, dad's black.
And she's a hairstylist, I want to say?
Yeah, she's a hairdresser. And she became a hairdresser because she had to learn what to do with her curls.
Yeah.
Which, for a lot of us mixed black girls, when the mom's not black, that's the struggle. And so now she's in the business of like helping people get curly cuts and whatnot to like really embrace their own natural curls, which I think is very cute.
And pretty much we leave it at that. Kate knows nothing about Kaylee or Kylie.
And vice versa. Yep.
Kylie? Is it Kylie, right?
No, Kate knows something about Kaylee.
Does she really?
I mean, in like a very loose term, she knows that he has another sugar mama that he was hesitant to like cut loose.
Pretty much.
In the loosest of terms,
Yeah.
she knows that there's somebody else.
Hunter
But Kaylee has no idea about Kate.
Exactly. Hunter is this season's Michael. If you know, if you remember all the other seasons.
Deep in the Love During Lockup lore.
Season, I think it was season 2.
It was one of the greatest seasons. The Michael with the multiple girlfriends storyline was wonderful.
And the white girl baby mama who didn't know he was messing with some black chick who didn't know he had a white. Well, I think she knew she had a baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know she was still talking to her.
Uh-huh.
And how he was trying to spend time between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So he's our Michael for this season. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be good.
I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know if he's going to have to choose. Do you think he's going to have to choose? Do you think both girls are going to dump him?
Oh, yeah. He's going to have to choose.
I can't see Kate being like, I got to step away. And I can't see Kaylee being like, I got to step away. So I'm wondering how that's going to work.
I think he's going to end up with.
I kind of want him to end up with Kaylee.
Spoiler.
Petty.
I think he's going to end up with somebody else completely.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be either of these girls?
No, I don't. I think he has all intentions to actually want to be with Kaylee.
Okay.
But
you think ultimately though, none of that's going to happen.
I think it's going to be somebody else.
Yikes!
But we shall see, and I'm ready for it.
So good.
The next couple we got is Tia and Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Rob is the inmate. This one is kind of crazy a little.
Okay.
So Tia met Rob by her sister, who's actually cousin who's actually married or
married to Rob's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Her cousin / tarot card
reader
/ empath cousin.
I guess preacher or whatever they call it, psychiatrist.
Okay. Psychologist. Yeah.
So her cousin introduced her to her girlfriend's,
her
wife's brother who been in jail. First of all, I'm like, why are y'all two messing with a whole family that's been in jail?
Well, you know what? Picking slim. But also, to her cousin's credit, her and her wife, they seem pretty stable. Like they seem pretty devoted to each other. To her credit. But why would you set your cousin up with Rob is my question.
So Rob is the inmate. He has this big scar on his neck. I think he had like some type of surgery for like a thigh wound.
Yeah, that's what he said. I definitely thought he got cut up in prison.
I thought he got choked or something. But no, that's what it is. So pretty much
Rob is like this very cut, like typical prison cut guy.
He pretty much got his typical prison body.
Yeah.
So
and Tia's a nice thickum as well.
And she's like, yes.
To Rob and his body, yes.
So fast forward, she's trying to figure out what Rob's gonna do when he comes out. Rob says, I want strippers and a welcome home party.
Yeah.
She's like, I thought we were gonna just spend the first week or two cuddling.
No, first 2 days. Yeah.
First 2 days, us just cuddling and getting to know each other. You want to just be around everybody out.
She also was trying to get her back blown out. She was like, wait a minute.
But I'm like, he's been in jail for like 8 years or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So he wants to see everybody.
But he kept changing it up was the issue. First he was like, just me and you. Then he was like, okay, me, you, and then my friends and these strippers.
Me, you, and
then
some
he
scribbles.
Then he was like, my friends and the strippers, my family, and then me and you. And she was like, wait a second.
Yeah. That's one of the things he keeps changing. So Rob also is not going to parole to Tia's house. He's going to parole to some friend's house.
They said a friend of the family who's a woman.
Who's a female. I think the friend of the family is a baby mama that he's probably was messing with.
Yeah.
And that's how she's a friend of the family, because she has a child with him.
I didn't even think about that, but that is a good, that makes sense.
That's what I think.
It makes sense.
He pretty much said he's going to be there for a month before he moves to Tia. He talks to Tia's sister, younger sister, and then the timeline changes from a month to 6. And she's like, okay, whatever, cool. He calls her again. They're having a conversation, and now it moves to like 3.
Yeah. It kind of jumps between 3 and 6.
3 and 6 months, and now he's changing again. And she's like,
what is happening?
Getting fed up with it. Now she's getting pissed off. Tia backstory is she comes from she pretty much was in an abusive relationship prior to this one. She has a daughter who is, Javon says, is neurospicy.
She seems to be neurospicy. There's a whole scene where she won't eat her food unless it's cold, and she has to like touch it in the bowl, like feel the texture of the food before she's able to eat it.
So, and her daughter's maybe like what?
Like 6, yeah, 5 or 6.
And I'm like, and her and her daughters have a conversation about Rob, and she's like, "You ready to see Rob?" She's like, "I love Rob," or whatever. And I feel so sad for the little girl.
It's always sad for the kids. The kids are always like, "I love him. I love my dad," and it's like, "Oh no."
So, looks like that relationship might be on the outskirts already.
Yeah, they have a big fight by the end of the episode.
And she throws down her phone. So pretty much her abusive relationship ended with her having like a broken foot.
Broken bones, she said.
Broken bones.
So not just, we saw her foot, but she was busted up, unfortunately.
And she seems like she's a handsy, angry person. You know, people that get angry and they want to fight and put their hands. They get angry and they got to use their hands.
Yeah.
She looks like one of those.
Well, I also know that that's like defense mechanism. A lot of them have learned the hits are coming anyway, so let me go ahead and swing as well, kind of a deal.
But I think she was a swinger before that.
I think she became a swinger because she had to swing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think she was a shover and mush face.
A shover.
Yeah, she's a shover and a mush face and a hit. Well, try to slap, but just hit you in the back or whatever.
Tia is very much giving you teeny, so absolutely.
Yes. So, but I just feel for the daughter.
I feel for Tia. Tia needs a break. It sounds like she's had a really rough go of it romantically.
Yeah. But we shall see. But right now, it's already rocky.
Yeah.
Moving on to Savannah and Bradley. Bradley is the inmate. Pretty much Savannah and Bradley are two people.
Calvin said they are white trash rich.
Yeah. She's that Southern Belle Witch. Southern Belle Witch, I do declare.
She's not a Southern Belle. Well, I guess. Virginia?
Yeah, Virginia is still right near that
Mason-Dixon
line. It's still near that Mason-Dixon line. Richmond is considered Southern.
Southern, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
She does live in a plantation home.
Yeah. Her grandma said, I want this home to like Thomas Jefferson's home or some crazy
in Monticello,
like
which was a plantation home.
Yeah, so she's pretty much a girl with money who's
got a drug pass.
Has a drug pass where she's dealing with her sobriety now.
Yeah.
She's had to go to rehab and now she's sober. Bradley has drug issues, but he doesn't think he has any issues.
He said, it's not stopping me. So.
And the way they met was he used to be her weed dealer.
Love at first sight.
Exactly. I guess you got to do what you got to do to get free weed.
Listen, Bradley clearly is not with the game. Like a lot of his responses are like, They're like, what do you think of Savannah's sobriety? He's like, yeah, it's whatever, you know.
It is what it is.
As long as she doesn't stop me from doing what I want to do. She don't push those morals on me. Morals. All right.
Exactly.
Cool.
So
he also likes fat asses.
He likes big booties. Savannah doesn't have a big booty, but she has a little chest, bristles, as they would say.
She had gastric bypass surgery, so she has like a lot of loose skin and stuff that she was dealing with.
She's also dealing with the way she looks, her looks. So she goes to, I guess,
plastic surgeon
to nip and tucks.
She wants a BBL.
To get the BBL.
But it's suggested to her to get basically like a bottom lift. Because she has a lot of loose skin. And they would just like kind of pack all of that and make it a booty.
So it's going to be about $19,000.
$19,500.
And she says Bradley's going to pay for it.
Well, according to her, Bradley offered it. But then when she calls Bradley
don't remember offering nothing.
Nope.
And he's like,
you wanted it.
You wanted it.
He's like, I told you to go to the gym.
And get it in.
Another spoiler. Ladies, if you do go to the gym, you can change the muscular tone of your body, but it doesn't mean you're going to magically produce results like a bubble booty. Okay? That doesn't happen just because you go to the gym.
Well, talking to Bradley, you're not working hard enough.
You have to want it first, Savannah.
Exactly. You gotta visualize it first. You visualize it, and then you can achieve it. That's how it works. You gotta visualize it. Y'all ain't visualizing.
Savannah's not black, Bradley. I don't know why you think that she can just go to the gym and get a booty.
Yeah, you can. You're not visualizing. You're not working hard enough.
White girls, most white girls I know, even though they go to the gym, they don't get this booty. They have to buy that booty, which is what she was trying to do. And for whatever reason, thought you were going to pay for it.
So Bradley goes, why don't you just have your family pay for it? Y'all come from
money.
Like, he goes, sidebar, Savannah comes from money.
For real.
So
for real.
Why do you get your grandma to pay for it?
Why does she need to go through me to get this BBL? Yeah, I said I like big booties. And yeah, I said she should get one. But why do I got to pay for it? Why do I got to pay for it?
The other couple who we haven't met yet is MJ and Willie. Willie's the inmate. We haven't met them yet, so I don't have anything to say about them. But it looks explosive.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to Sam and Crystal. Crystal's the inmate. Pretty much Sam is EMT, and he pretty much found Crystal on a prison PayPal website.
Crystal's giving me Murderous Row from Chicago. You know what that is?
No.
He Had It Coming. Have you heard that song?
Oh, yeah. No.
He had it coming. He only has himself to blame. If you had been there, if you had seen it, you would have done the same.
Sounds like
there's a line in there where this girl goes, my husband was asking, he was crazy. He kept asking me if I was screwing the milkman. I said, I'm not screwing the milkman. He ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 9 times. That's what she gives me. She gives me like, we got into a fight and then he ran into my knife.
That's kind of what happened. She's been in jail for 14 years since she's been 19 because apparently her ex ran into her knife.
She's like, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden he had a cut on his forehead. I don't know what happened.
So she's pretty much serving, she's done 7 years of a 14-year sentence.
Okay, I have pause. Question. Sidebar. Yeah. How did she get 14 years for assault? Because we see the charge. It's not attempted murder. It's assault. And it's not even assault with a deadly weapon. It's just assault. How she get 14 years? She got priors?
It had to have been a deadly weapon.
It didn't say it at all.
It had to be.
I'm going to look at sarcasm and see if they got these charges.
After she did some years, they lowered it. They lessened the charges.
Okay. My hypothesis is that she has priors. I think she may have put hands on somebody before this knife incident, which is what pushed it to 14.
So either
the person she cut was somebody that court knew.
So
and that's why she got the 14. Because I was like, 14 years for assault?
I think it's more like you said. I think she had a lot of priors.
Okay. She
seemed like she had
She didn't have no problem putting hands on somebody.
Yeah, unique childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So like she had a dysfunctional childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let the glasses fool you. The glasses is just to see what she's hitting. That's all it is. The glasses is to see what she's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much Sam, I guess, used to live in Oregon, but moved to Texas to be closer to her.
Mm-hmm. And he married her.
Her mom, Crystal's mom, died like 3 months after she got into jail.
And she was 19 when she went to jail.
So it's just her and her grandma. So Sam moved down there and is taking care of her grandma.
And it's hinted by the grandma.
It's a weird
when
dynamic.
Sam went there, he initially was like romancing her. He was taking her out to dinner. He was taking her out on dates. And she was like, it even got to the point where Crystal got into it with the grandmother, thinking the grandmother was trying to steal her man.
And the grandma was like, I
don't want him.
I'm weirded out too.
She's like, I don't want him. I don't like him like that.
Matter of fact,
I need him to continue buying my stuff for me, but I don't want him.
And she's like, I'm actually weirded out by the both of you. Seems like grandma's like, I'm stuck in the middle and I don't know how to get out of here.
It's very interesting that Sam explains it as like a weird amalgamous situation.
And then he also alluded to that he kind of wanted the grandma, and the grandma was like, what?
Yeah. Like, I feel like if this was a group dynamic, he would have been fine. That's what it gave me. Like, if he was like, yeah, I'm in a polyamorous relationship with the grandmother and her grandchild. Yes.
And the grandma's looking at him like, he's weird.
But he pays for my stuff.
Exactly. So it is what it is. That's what I get from the grandma. And I guess Crystal has a secret she hasn't told Sam yet.
I think she has a girlfriend. That's what I think it is.
You think that's what it is?
I think she has a girlfriend.
I think so too.
Or she's been in for a minute. She's
married to somebody else, or she's still married.
Ooh, okay. She could have another pen pal that she married. She could be pulling a Hunter.
Yep.
Okay. A female Michael. Okay.
Yes, sorry, Bob.
I could see that too.
So
I just like that she doesn't trust him, even though he is nothing but faithful to her.
Exactly. I'm like,
She's like, I don't want you hanging out with your friends. What?
I'm like, he's pretty much taking care of your grandma. I'm pretty sure you're fine.
He calls you nonstop.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure you're fine. So that's Sam and Crystal. Crystal with a K is crazy.
Yeah, it means they like to fight.
Yeah, Crystal with C's can
50,
go either
50,
way.
50-50.
Crystal with K. Crystal with a
For
K.
sure, 100%.
For sure, 100% fighter. And a biter. And a biter.
And a
Fighter
biter.
and a biter.
We'll do anything for White Castle. Absolutely.
Exactly. Or Crystal's.
Her namesake. Absolutely.
Her namesake restaurant. Either way. And our last couple is Jakima and Donnie. Jakima is a mom of two twins who's pretty much, she found Donnie after swiping through a TikTok.
TikTok is really, so that was Hunter's situation too.
Yeah, you said you saw Hunter.
I saw Hunter's TikTok that went viral. And that's how Kaylee saw him. That's how she got, and then got into the JD site.
Yeah. So he started mentioning her in J-Date. That's what it was. Yeah, he started messaging her.
Yeah, he kept seeing her name as somebody who was checking out his profile.
Yeah, so he messaged her in J-Date, and she like, ooh.
She said, ew.
Ooh.
Why would I want to date an inmate? Even though I'm online looking at his profile.
Exactly. Ew. So.
But I like Jakima.
Yeah, eventually, I guess he hit all the right buttons. And now.
He bought her, edible delivery?
Yeah. He started sending her gifts.
He sent her gifts. He helped pay for stuff for the kids. She was like, okay.
And
he romanced her. He swooned her.
And apparently he's paying for her housing now?
Yeah, he's paying like some of her utilities and helping pay for the twins. I don't know where he's making his money.
Apparently.
But he is. He says he owns his own home.
He's getting money from a house I guess he's renting out. I'm assuming he got that with drug money. Because, by the way, he's in there for dealing drugs. If you don't know. So I'm pretty sure that house was paid for with drug money.
Who knows?
I'm just going to assume. But him and Jakima are, I guess, kind of rocky right now because Jakima moved to Ohio to be closer to him so she can go visit him.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, them business going to have to take a while because he's about to go in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And
he says he don't know why.
He don't know why. That could be true. And it can also be true they didn't not tell him how long he's going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jakima don't believe him, though.
Jakima don't believe him because she think he knows why he's going to the hole.
Well, she alluded that he kind of tells stories. It wouldn't be the first time. He kind of like didn't tell her the full situation of something. So it's not coming from nowhere. Jakima very much gives like, like she's gonna do what she needs to do to take care of her kids. Like the hardened like single mom vibe, and she just wants somebody to be her partner, like literally be her partner in life.
Who was the girl? I think it was 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
Where she got to the house and the dude took her car and disappeared and didn't come back.
Oh yeah, she had the wig. Yes.
Yeah.
She kind of looks like
She moved to Atlanta. She had her own business in Kentucky or something
and sold it off so that
sold
she
off and moved to Atlanta. And the first day out, that dude disappeared, left her at the Airbnb by herself.
She also was a rapper. Yeah.
Yeah, and she had like her kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, what's her name?
I don't remember.
Now I want to know.
But I feel like in her situation, even though she loved her girls, I don't think she prioritized them. And I feel like Jakima prioritizes her boys.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I get that, yeah. So for me, that's all couples from this season. Love during Lockup. It's gonna be an awesome scene. I don't want to jinx it. Damn it, I'm jinxing it.
So who's your favorite couple to watch right now?
All of them.
So for me, it's for sure Hunter, Kaylee.
Oh, that's number one. Honestly, I want to see MJ and Wooly because I think they're gonna take the cake. But to me, Savannah and Bradley is interesting.
Okay.
Because you got another inmate who don't care about the other person
whatsoever
at all. But it's going to stay there because she has money.
Yeah.
But then again, do she really have money?
She has access to money?
She has the access to the money.
I don't know how much of it she can actually use, but she has access.
I don't know how much she can actually access.
Yeah, but she has access to it.
I think T and Rob are going to be the volatile one.
Mm-hmm.
Couple. I think this is gonna be the funniest one. Kate, Kylie, and Hunter gonna be the funny one.
It's gonna be interesting. I want to know what's gonna happen. Is he gonna choose? Are they both gonna drop him? Is a random third one gonna come in? Like, which what's gonna happen?
I think the dull one is gonna be no, because I think Crystal's gonna make it interesting. I think Crystal's gonna make it interesting. But if I had to pick the least one, it'd probably be Jakima and Donnie.
Which couples do you think are making it to Love After Lockup?
All.
I'm thinking Jakima and Donnie.
Savannah and Bradley.
Okay. Maybe Tia and Rob.
No, not Savannah and Bradley. I'm sorry.
I think Savannah and Bradley will make it to Love After Lockup.
Sam and Crystal.
Okay.
I don't think Hunter's gonna make it that long. I don't think Tia and Rob's gonna make it that long.
Okay.
Out of spite, once I gotta see these MJ and Willie story, but out of spite, I think them two. So I think Sam, Crystal, MJ, Willie, and you said for you, who was it?
Savannah and Bradley, Tia and Rob, I think are gonna make it to Love After Lockup, and Jakima and Donnie.
I think it's gonna be MJ, Willie, out of spite. I'll give you some Savannah and Bradley. I think Sam and Crystal. Because I think Sam. That's why. I can see Jakima and Donnie.
It's just like Crystal she got a minute before she can come out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Well, she's up for parole, though.
She is, but it has to be approved. That's what they're waiting on.
Yeah. So, I think it get approved.
Okay.
Because if they put it down to assault, I think they gave her 14 years, but they only expect her to do half.
She's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
That might be why it's 14 years, too.
Yeah.
Texas likes to throw stuff at the... Very interesting. All right.
Texas like to make you sit around and think about it.
What did you think of Sam's observation that he feels that Texas women embody truth, beauty, and realness?
I don't know where the hell he got that from. That's the first. I was told Texas is a bunch of steers and queers. That's what I told Texas
He
is
was
about.
like, I got on the Prison Pen Pal website and I immediately looked at Texas because I know that the women there are associated with beauty, truth, and realness. What?
If you want to say they got strong bones.
Strong bones. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're bigger and they might be able to cook and eat. Then cool. But that's, I don't know where the hell he got that from.
He
Maybe all that air in Oregon got to him. Maybe that's what it is. All the trees and all the oxygen.
Too much.
Stunts the growth of the brain.
Could be.
But oh man, yeah. I just think Tia and Rob are gonna be too volatile.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they can make it past episode 2.
Okay.
She's already throwing her phone in the yard and walking and leaving it.
That's true. He's not even there in person. True.
So, but yeah, that Kate, Kelly, and Hunter gonna be good. That's gonna be hilarious. When they showed Kylie,
it was just like, what?
I'm like, okay.
What?
I'm like, he got a taste of that sweet black nectar.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like confused because he very much gave like, what's the word? Like he only cared about
Abercrombie and Finch,
the surface stuff. Yeah, like he only cared about like the surface little stuff.
What was that clothing store that all the white dudes used to go to?
Hollister?
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does. But he's got a bunch of nonsensical tattoos.
That makes absolutely no sense.
So he's given more like Diesel than Hollister.
Okay.
Or Urban Outfitters. Like that kind of crowd.
Okay. I've heard Urban Outfitters Diesel. I've never heard of that.
It's very similar and like roughneck aesthetic.
Okay.
But white roughneck aesthetic.
But yeah, that shit was hilarious. I'm like, ooh, she went there and that big girl turned him out.
It was just really funny because Kate on paper is like the socially acceptable, attractive person. And he was like, Kaylee though?
Like, this month was like...
He lit up.
Cushion. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
She done put that sweet... She done put that...
Okay.
She done put that pot roast on him. She done put that simmered, seasoned, sweet nectar.
Like, his conversations with Kate are very controlled. And whenever he's talking about her, the compliments he gives is like, it sounds like she's his management. Like, he's like, I can always talk to her.
Now that you think about it, you mention it, he never asked Kate to go and like do anything sexual, like masturbate,
Nope.
do whatever?
Nope. He didn't start no conversations with, go get your toy, girl.
First thing started with
trying to get off.
Go get your toy, girl.
What?
Go get your toy, girl.
What is happening? I feel like for him, Kate is his like reasonable side where he can just like have regular conversations, bounce ideas off, and Kate is his affectionate and love side.
It's
or
funny,
not Kate, Kaylee.
The cat was under the bed, and when the cat saw the hair, the cat paw stopped. Like, I don't think I want to leave right now.
The look on the cat's face didn't look like I want to kill myself right now. I want to end everything right now.
I don't want to hear this. I want to leave, but I don't want to leave and look back and see what I don't want to see.
I shouldn't be the one that has to leave.
Exactly. I should be the one that has to leave. I was here first. So, I didn't even know there was a dog.
Mm-hmm. There was a dog on the side of the bed.
I don't. First of all, I don't know how people do stuff like that in front of animals. I can't. I can't.
So I don't need your judgment, animals.
Exactly.
Go over there.
Because dogs be doing borderline creepy stuff. Like they want to lick you and do all that stuff. Nah, I can't.
He said, I don't need other involvement. Go over there.
Yeah, and then they just stare at you. I don't like. It feel like another human being staring at me. I don't like it. Get out. So yeah, I don't know how people do stuff like that with animals around.
Honestly, I don't know if she actually did it with the animals around. We just saw the door open because she's fully clothed by the time that door's open, and she's talking to him. So I don't know if she got her quickie, then opened the door, then the animals came in.
I also want to know, did she eat her pot roast?
I know it was like simmering and everything on the table. It has to be cold by now.
Man,
it was her saying, "I always make enough food for the both of us." He's in prison. You wasting food?
I don't think she eats her food. As soon as she calls him, go get your toy. That's what we're doing all the time.
What?
It sounded like that's what she was expecting.
He lit up. This man was just this girl, I love her. Can't wait to marry her. Like all the stuff that Kate wants to hear. We don't see one scene with him saying that to her whatsoever. That's why they're gonna be my favorite threesome to watch. What's gonna happen?
I think Chris is gonna be back in jail. I think she's gonna stab Sam.
Why?
Or her grandmother. One of them.
What cracked me up about Crystal was like how she said she don't fully trust him because everybody got secrets. I'm like, ma'am, what?
I'm like, because you got.
You've
secrets.
Been married to this man for 3 years. What secret he got that you don't know? That you don't know about?
I think her secret is she actually really tried to kill that dude.
I don't think that's a secret. You can't. That's double jeopardy. She can't go to jail again for the same situation.
But what she's saying is it was an accident, or she don't remember what happened.
She did. To her credit, she did not say it was an accident. She said, "I cut that man with a knife. I cut that man's forehead with a knife." She said that.
That's crazy. If you want to not see me anymore, just say I cut my last boyfriend or ex. I'm like, yep, that tells me.
No, I'm gonna murderous row it. I'm gonna say he ran into my knife.
And like, it was.
I don't know what was going on.
Whether he ran or you swung, I don't need to be here.
I mean, I was just there chopping vegetables, and he just kept running into this knife. It was crazy.
Well, yep, that's all for me. Love during Lockup. You got anything else you want to add?
Any other shows you're watching?
I gotta go back to 90 Days Before 90 Days.
Okay.
Gotta watch that right quick.
I watched another documentary. I watched the Lisa Frank documentary. Oh my gosh, she's a terrible person. So. Learn that.
What's terrible about her?
Lisa, you know what Lisa Frank is, right? Like the colorful pictures and the stickers and all this stuff.
No.
Okay.
I have no idea.
In the 90s, there was this brand called Lisa Frank.
Murdered her daughter's cheerleaders, friends, or what?
Oh, I watched that too. I didn't finish it though. But no, that's not her.
Okay.
There's a Texas cheerleader documentary that's on HBO right now that talks about this mom who tried to hire a hitman to take out a mother of another cheerleader in the same township that she felt was like taking opportunities away from her daughter because his mom was like living vicariously through her daughter, basically.
That's what I said too as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, that is what you said. But no, Lisa Frank was a very, very popular brand in the 90s. If you see it, you know exactly what it is.
Is that? No.
Yes, you do. You definitely remember that.
I don't remember none of that stuff.
Okay, let me see if I can find a picture of a Trapper Keeper. But basically, like for girls in the 90s.
Oh my God.
In the late 80s and 90s, this was it.
Oh my God.
You don't remember seeing these around school? Nobody had these? The dolphins?
No. We can afford Trapper Keepers.
Yes, you could.
No.
You're a lot.
We carried all that paper in our hands.
I kind of want. I will spend $300 to get this vintage '90s trapper keeper with the unicorn.
Burn your office down.
You never saw any of this. You don't. This doesn't ring a bell whatsoever.
No, it does not.
Oh my goodness.
I told you, we couldn't afford trapper keepers. I carried all my papers in my hand.
You didn't carry. You didn't have a book bag either.
Nope, I carried my pencils, papers, everything, my books in my hand. I couldn't afford a book bag.
You are a liar.
My mom said,
"You make it sound like it was Little House on the Prairie. Use your belt to put all it together."
My mom said, "I didn't have one. You don't need one."
That's not what happened at all. You liar. None of this looks familiar to you. These bright colors, these animals. None of it looks familiar.
They probably were. I didn't see them.
So they were on everything: blankets, sticker. They started out as stickers: blankets, stickers, journals, pencils, school supplies, bedspreads.
Also, I didn't have cable.
This wasn't on cable. This was everywhere. This wasn't just on cable. This was literally everywhere.
I probably did. I just didn't pay no attention.
So basically, it was just like neon colors with these.
I remember all the neon color
animals.
stuff. I remember all that stuff. Yeah.
And Lisa Frank in the '90s was huge.
My Little Pony.
It was kind of like My Little Pony. They had a whole unicorn thing
and Care Bears and stuff.
So they were this huge company in the '90s, and the documentary is all about like how it kind of came to prominence, and it was like. Lisa Frank was basically two people. There's the actual Lisa Frank, this lady from like Vermont, who was an artist and who drew similar stuff like this, and she just really liked color. And then there's this other artist whose name I can't remember, who eventually becomes her husband. He's the reason about how the branding looks like this. Like this is all his art, all those animals, like how these animals look and how the font and everything is chosen.
She hated him and resented him.
Eventually, so he has an art background, but he has a marketing art background, so he knows how to create content.
He creates for money.
Yes, he knows how to create for money.
And she create for the art, supposedly.
No, she also created for money. She did not do it for the innocence of the art.
Why did she get angry?
So Lisa Frank gets big. Her and that guy are working close hand in hand.
Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't even say they fall in love. He says it was just kind of the escalation of things because of the proximity. Have you heard of that theory?
Yeah, they're always together.
Yeah, they were always together. So there's this whole.
You spend enough time around somebody consistently and constantly.
That all of a sudden you kind of find yourself having feelings for them.
Yeah.
So that's how he explains it.
That's how this worked.
Wow.
That's how this happened.
Because of proximity, we don't even work together. Anyway, so.
We were hanging around so much. And I looked into your eyes one day.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
mm-hmm.
When I look into your eyes.
Uh-huh.
And then I touched your cheek very gently. And I'm sprung.
No.
You got me.
No, not Akon. Or is that T.I.?
Doing things I never do.
Is that T-Pain? I thought it was Akon.
It's both of them.
Okay. Anywho. So, they get married. The company continues to build. But the man goes mad with power. Like listening to...
He got crazy.
Well, so they get married, right? And Lisa gives him 49% of the shares of the company. So now he's like a major shareholder of her company.
He turned into...
He went from being a hired artist at her company to like getting a little higher in title, like being a lead of some sort, and then gets 49 shares of the company.
He was Lex Luthor.
Basically. So he starts to run the company the way he wants to run the company. She kind of pulls away from it because they start having kids. So she starts like being home with the kids. So it's his show. And he goes mad with power. And he's a perfectionist. So he is like micromanaging these people. And it becomes this crazy toxic workplace.
To death.
But have him tell it. He's like, maybe I'm a little perfectionist, but it's not anything they couldn't handle. There's stories of how like they were firing people every day. Every day somebody was getting fired. The lady that did all this stuff for him, there's another CEO. She's like basically their HR person. Her name is Deb.
Mm-hmm.
She's known throughout the company as the person who fires everybody. She hires them, but she also will definitely fire you. And there's no love lost for a lot of the former employees when it comes to Deb. And when you see Deb, she kind of she's like on the fence of like, on the one hand, she thinks that Lisa Frank's husband is this genius She talks about how this man is a business genius. And I mean, to her credit, he was. He helped make Lisa Frank a household name.
Mhm.
But it's how devout she is to this man, like in terms of loyalty. She is devoutly
Seemed
loyal
like
to
she
this
fell in
dude.
love with the power of the
That
guy.
maybe the power. So the rumor is at some point, this man starts stepping out on Lisa because Lisa Frank blows up at him at the office one day and accuses Deb of sleeping with him.
Hmm.
Deb says that didn't happen. She did not sleep with that man. The man says the same thing. He says, I did not sleep with Deb. But Lisa Frank and a lot of the other employees believe, believe that did go down.
Well, I believe it too, but I don't like you. I put it in her head too.
But Deb's like, I've only slept with my husband, and she's still married to that man. Like they're still happily married. Eventually, though, the husband and Deb both get fired. Once Lisa Frank feels that I guess she like hit her limit of what she could take of whatever she thought was going on. She starts working towards a divorce. It's a very contentious divorce with this guy. She fires Deb. She fires him from his position at the job. Meanwhile, at the height of this divorce and all of this madness, Lisa Frank is starting to slow. She's starting to dive in terms of popularity because we're aging up at this point. It's like in the mid 2000s at this point.
Oh yeah, them kids,
We're grown at that point.
they don't take crapper keepers no more. They just use notepads.
They also went a weird direction in terms of marketing. You remember Brat dolls? You know what those are?
No.
You know what Barbies are.
Yes.
So there were ghetto versions of Barbies called Brat dolls. And they really they were caricatures of different aspects of different culture, like Black culture, Hispanic culture. But like they were hood dolls, basically. They were hood Barbies. So that was popular at the time. That was coming up. So Lisa Frank decided that she was also gonna do her own dolls. But they were boring. They didn't do it. It didn't help at all. So her business is starting to go down. Her marriage is going down. And she decides to clean house. She decides to fire everybody and hire some new bodies. But she doesn't have the money like that anymore. And then it starts to get even worse for Lisa Frank. Like she kind of fades out entirely. She's still trying to run business the way she ran business back in the 80s, but it is not doing anything, right? And now all these bridges are burned as well. All these former employees are disgruntled. The guy that was helping to make her money, he's gone, which was her ex-husband at this point. She got kids with that man named Hunter and Forrest based off of their favorite color, green. But the kids are divided too.
That's crazy.
I think Hunter completely sides with his father and hates his mom.
Oh, okay.
Forrest completely sides with his mother and hates his dad. It's wild that it's messy. And then the second half of that documentary is how like Lisa Frank is barely hanging in there. They're like barely turning a profit. But there's a resurgence in interest in Lisa Frank in the mid 2010s. A bunch of these new makeup brands are starting to pop up. And one of them, Glamour Dolls, reaches out to Lisa Frank to do a collaboration. They want to do a Lisa Frank makeup palette.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, we can do that. She demands $100,000 up front and 15% of licensing fees, which the Glamour Dolls are brand new to the business. They don't know that that's high. They think that that's just the price of business. It turns out it's extremely high. Like not a lot. Most businesses don't even do it like that. But Lisa Frank, I clearly saw an opportunity to like get money and was like, I'm gonna make them give me this money.
Yeah.
And then after all of that, she doesn't even deliver on the palettes. She puts this little indie company through the ringer. Anytime they come up with a decision, she's like, no. Anytime they want to try to do something else, she's like, no. And then on top of that, she won't do business with the full team. It's a guy and a girl that's running this company, and she refuses to talk to the girl. She only talks to the guy.
Because of what happened in the past?
And then when she's dealing with the guy, she's like, you know what? To cement this deal, we should take a trip to Greece. This guy is Greek. He's actually Greek. So she's like, you're Greek. We should take a trip to Greece. I'm going to bring my son Forrest with me. It'll be like his college trip. We'll discuss business. We'll look at warehouses, yada, 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 in Greece. But this guy's brand new to the business. He's like, okay. So he says that he puts up the money. He puts up the money for an all expenses paid trip to Greece where he's doing a bunch of the translating. And then he realizes in the trip, she's just basically treating him like a tour guide. He paid for this trip.
Hmm.
Because they're not even doing business. They're just seeing the sights, basically. And then when they get back from it, she doesn't do any of the things she said she was going to do with them. And then they can't deliver on their pallets. They miss a deadline for their pallets. They're getting consumer complaints because they did a Kickstarter to get all this. So all these people donated money to try to get it done, and then nothing happened with it. So then they end up having to file for bankruptcy. They end up having to close down their business because they couldn't do anything with it. A short while later, Lisa Frank collabs with a different makeup business called Morphe, and they put out the palettes. And it's the same designs and the same design choices that the first indie company chose that she told them they can't do. She just packaged all of their ideas, didn't do anything with it with that company, and then did it with the next company.
Couldn't they sue her?
They tried to. It's still in litigation. It's still in court right now.
How long?
She also sued them. She sued them first, though.
Wow.
So.
When did she start killing folks?
Right? Like, what in the world? And then apparently the Morphe collab that she did, it also didn't end up going anywhere because she chose a bunch of really cheap materials to do it. She chose super cheap materials to do it. So so the people who bought the Morphe palettes were all let down as well. They couldn't use the makeup. They're just like, okay. And it's just like time and time again of like these new content creators being inspired by Lisa Frank because they remember growing up with it and then getting screwed over by Lisa Frank. There's a black girl. She loves color. She's basically like a pastel goth. She had redone her home in like these bright, vibrant, very Lisa Frank-esque colors. And she went viral. She was being interviewed by Good Morning America, like home design shows, all kinds of stuff for what she did with her template for her home, like for her kitchen and for her living room and everything, because it's all these bright, bright colors. Lisa Frank reaches out to her and it's like, we really love what you did. We'd love to do like a collaboration sometime. She was like, great, can't wait. Short while later, Lisa Frank is unveiling their own housing design concepts, and they're exactly her designs. And she's like, wait a second, because she hasn't done anything with them yet. She's like, what is going on? Why are you doing my stuff? They sue her. And they get her evicted. Turns out they actually own the apartment control or apartment management that this girl lives in. They own that company. So they get her evicted from her home. And continue to use her ideas without paying her or attributing any of it to her.
So did she get a lawyer?
Yeah, she lawyered up, but it didn't go anywhere. It's also still in litigation. I don't know where she has the funds to keep these court cases going, but she does. And yeah, and that's how the documentary ends. It's like, you see the rise of it. You see how like it was this innocent idea for this very lonely girl. It turns into a monster. Stays a monster. Lisa Frank. And I loved Lisa Frank as a kid. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much.
And that's why I don't idolize anything. The end.
What else happened that I was talking? Oh, people have rewatched the history of I think it's called like The Toys We Made or The Toys That Made Us or something. Do you remember that documentary?
Yeah.
So He-Man is a big focus on it. There's a whole episode just dedicated to He-Man.
Skeletor was his lover.
Basically. Scorned. No.
His scorned lover.
People are just finding out that a lot of He-Man's backstory was created by a black guy. Just finding out.
Oh, well, they're probably burning all the He-Man.
They are so mad. They're like, wait, what do you mean? That like he is the reason for the design concept and the storyline and the villains and the other characters that get thrown into the story. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? He-Man is white. So.
Makes sense.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. Anyhow. But yeah, that's what I watched this week. And I really enjoyed it. And it also kind of killed my soul a little bit. So yeah. That's why I had to watch a true crime documentary about a mom killing cheerleaders.
Oh, I watched the Jamie Foxx special.
Oh, how was that?
That was cool. He touched on a little Diddy.
Really?
He touched on Diddy a little bit.
What did he say?
He went to a Diddy party, but he left before.
That's what he said?
The baby oil. He said some other jokes. You gotta watch it.
It was a joke about how he left before the baby oil. Okay.
Yeah. It's some other stuff. pretty much he pretty much told everybody what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He had like a stroke.
Oh, his medical issue. Okay.
Yeah, and like they thought his brain was bleeding
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So he had to learn how to rewalk and all that stuff.
Dang.
He had to. So he's like, Atlanta saved his life.
Wow. Because he was on set, wasn't he? He was like shooting
he was
something.
doing something, and he went home. He went to get asked somebody for some aspirin or something.
Okay.
And then he said he died. Did he say he died?
He might have.
He he was like in a coma for like 20 days.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So he's like, there's 20 days he don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And he's like, they finally found somebody in Atlanta. I think Piedmont Hospital or something like that.
Okay.
And the dude knew exactly what was wrong with him.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And then he cracked some jokes. He has a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
not the one that is on the game show with him that DJs. Another daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think I'm assuming she's mixed and she plays the guitar.
Okay.
She's really talented. And she said she stuck in his room with her guitar, started playing, and it because his vitals were going crazy, and they couldn't get it down.
Okay.
And she said she snuck in her room and started playing her guitar, and his vitals just like evened out.
Ooh.
So then she comes on stage and starts playing the guitar. He starts pretty much crying.
Oh.
And telling her to play. They get on stage and play and sing together.
So was it a stand-up show or just like a one-man show?
It was a performance.
Yeah, okay.
With a comedy.
Yeah, some
It's
comedy
pretty
aspects.
much all his comedy shows are like that.
Okay.
He starts off doing comedy, cracking jokes,
Mm-hmm.
and then he goes into playing music.
Okay.
Because that stands from when he was in Living Color, he was trying to get his music career off the ground.
I didn't realize how educated in music he is. Like
Yeah.
he went to school for music.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's pretty much all his stand-up specials.
Mhm.
So the music thing wasn't shocking to me. So it's more of like a performance.
Okay.
You get like a comedy show mixed with a mini concert.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't finished it because the music part he started getting on the piano, started playing music,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I like stopped
He
watching.
said, "I need the jokes, Jamie." Click.
So it wasn't. But if you let somebody online tell it, this dude had no smoke, no joke, something.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying he said a lot more Diddy jokes.
Oh,
on
in
the
live,
first-
in
yeah,
person.
Yeah, and he also said some jokes about TD Jakes, all that stuff.
Ooh. Interesting.
And he said, so what are the jokes? He was like, he's done with white women.
Okay.
But then the dude that was talking about him doing all this other stuff showed a video of him going to the sidelines and him kissing this white girl. And everybody's like, so we already know. We don't care. It is what it is.
Aren't his kids mixed? I think his kids are with white women. Yeah.
So he also talked about how Halle Berry pretty much gave him a hug and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So it's like little jokes. But
Okay.
it was mainly talking about what happened to him. What had happened. That's the name of the Netflix special.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much the only other thing I watched.
Okay. We were supposed to watch a Christmas movie, but I'm gonna make him do it. We're gonna watch at least one Black Christmas movie before December's done.
Whatever.
All right, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.